There's something very sad that takes place in the book of Ezekiel, and it begins in chapter 10, verse 4. Then the glory of the Lord went up from the cherub to the threshold of the temple, and the temple was filled with the cloud, and the court was filled with the brightness of the glory of the Lord. I'm going to jump around a little bit and follow the movement of the glory of the Lord. Follow along with me. Years earlier, when Solomon had built and dedicated his magnificent temple, you remember the glory of the Lord filled that place like smoke filling a room. But now can we say he? It's not a it, it's the Holy Spirit. Leaves the heart of the temple and he moves to the threshold, although he still fills the place like smoke. And that's what we see in this verse. But if we jump over to verse 18 and 19, notice this. Then the glory of the Lord departed from the threshold of the temple and stood over the cherubim. And when the cherubim departed, they lifted their wings and rose up from the earth in my sight, with the wheels beside them. And they stood still at the entrance of the east gate of the Lord's house, and the glory of the God of Israel hovered over them. So notice that? The cherubim depart along with the glory of the Lord. Skipping over to chapter 11, verse 23, the glory of the Lord went up from the midst of the city and stood over the mountain which is east of the city. The Lord has left the temple, and he has left the city. It's a picture of the Lord releasing the people to face the consequences of their actions. It's the same thing we see in Romans chapter 1, where people, we people, deny and ignore God and insist on going our own way, guided only by our passions. And 3 times in Romans chapter 1 it says, God gave them over. It's what the Great Tribulation is all about. In effect, God is saying, okay, you want life without me in it? That's fine, I will leave, and this is what it's going to look like. He withdraws his presence, his hand of blessing, and he allows us to face the consequences of our own demands. And that never works out well. But the good news is that God is forever a God of mercy and compassion and grace. I'm going to skip way over to chapter 43 and verses 1 through 5. Listen to this. Then he led me to the gate facing toward the east, and behold, the glory of the God of Israel was coming from the way of the east, and his voice was like the sound of many waters, and the earth shone with his glory. And it was like the appearance of the vision which I saw, like the vision I saw when he came to destroy the city. And the visions were like the vision which I saw by the river Kibar, and I fell on my face. And the glory of the Lord came into the house by the way of the gate facing toward the east. And the Spirit lifted me up and brought me into the inner court. And behold, the glory of the Lord filled the house. And he said to me, Son of man, this is the place of my throne, and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell among the sons of Israel forever. There's that key phrase again. Oh, it would be nice if we came to our senses before the Lord removes the glory of his presence from us all the way. When you turn this video off, how about pausing to confess your sin and ask the Lord to take control of your life and to fill you with his presence? Do that.